officiallyurban.com.
Yes. What's going on, people? We are back. It's officially Urban on Pi Radio. I think this is number 6. Again, don't quote me, but yeah, it's the interviews. I think that's what we're going with title-wise. And I mean, I've got someone who is undeniably one of the originators of, well, not even originators. He had a little run, and you can't talk grime or rap or Manchester music without his name coming up at some point, and that's just facts. It's Mr. RIO. What's going on,
What's
brother?
happening? Medea.
You good?
Good, man.
Yeah?
Blessed, bro.
What do you think about the intro? You like it?
Yo, it's an introduction and a half that.
Alright.
I feel like I was come out to a fight or something.
Yeah, no. It had to be because I have to get straight into it.
Yeah.
We've got a relationship, but we haven't discussed beforehand what we're going to talk about. So I want to jump straight into it and just ask you straight up, because I feel like the perception I get from your name, when your name is brought up, is, oh, Rio, he had his chance, but he kind of fell off, kind of thing. So, like, how do you respond to that? Because obviously there are two sides to a story, and I think it's important for you to tell your story, because I know you got signed quite early. Like, you found success quite early in terms of being on One Extra and stuff like that. So maybe, like, it makes sense to kind of go back to the point that, like, when did you first find success in this music thing?
I think the first time that I found success, to be honest with you, when I was working with Mike with Rare Breed Music.
Okay.
So it was our own independent label that was funded by my uncle. Mike was obviously managing, and he was obviously managing myself. Once I signed with him with a management deal, that's when things started to unfold in terms of consistency with videos, good, clean looking videos.
And when are we talking, like, what?
We're talking about 6 years ago.
Okay.
About 6 years now, yeah. And that's when we first done the first single, Narrow Roads.
Okay,
Because obviously we went down to London, to I Love Live, and I performed on the open mic.
Yeah.
Bless Beats was there.
Oh, yeah.
And he was just like, yo, I'm feeling your stuff and that. Come down to the studio the day after, which was Target Studio, Roll Deeps. Linked him, he sent me a beat, I wrote to it, and then put that out as a single, and then DJ Q got wind of it, Cameo, and then Mr. Jam started making inquiries.
Okay, yeah.
Never heard him before, this track's hot, he's got Blessed Beats on the buttons and that, and then things just started to unfold from there. So that's when I first had the early success with Rare Breed Music, which was kind of pioneering at the time in terms of consistency and putting stuff out. Obviously after Shifty had his accident, we kind of was pushing, you know, flying the flag for the city.
Okay. So, what happened after that? Because I wasn't privy to it, and I don't pretend to know everything about Manchester. But like I said, I do want to obviously shed light on different people's stories.
Most definitely,
we're talking like 6 years ago, 2010. You're in the mix of
you're
like
in the bubble.
you're in the bubble of the London guys. What happens after that? You find success with Narrow Roads, a single.
Yeah, so we find success with Narrow Roads, then we move on to the Wheel of Grime, which we got Gets on at the time, because I had a good relationship with Gets.
How's that relationship now?
Still cool, yeah, man. When he's in Manchester and that, obviously he's got a show. And the last tour that he done, he had me supporting his show.
Okay, yeah.
So he does hit me up on that. But at that time, I was working with Z Dot.
The Z Dot.
Yeah, the producer Z Dot. Yeah, because we had a song called Gangster with Screw Fizzer on it, Shifty was on it, and a few other MCs. We got the beat of Z Dot. I recorded my verse on the Wheel of Grime, and then I had Shifty on the third verse, and we was just gonna put it out like that. At the time, Gets was in Manchester. He was doing a show, and he hit me up, you know, saying he wanted some Buddha Judo and that. And then I said, yo, we got a studio, do you want to come roll through? So we just rolled through. He weren't planning to record nothing. And then I played in the Wheel of Grime. And I was like, you know what, another verse could fit on here. And he's like, yo fam, I'm in. You get me? Obviously he brought his energy on the track. And then we put that out with Grime Daily. And then that got playlisted on One Extra with Austin.
Okay.
But it wasn't that easy to get on the One Extra playlist. We didn't just get on there like that.
Yeah.
All the grind that me and Mike put in leading up to the Wheel of Grime single made it near enough undeniable for them to put us on, because we're like, you have to tick that box. We took that box. That one took every box that they asked, and was like, right, we're still not getting on the playlist. So then we had to go back to the drawing board. We got the big feature, we got Gets, we got a big producer. Shifty was kind of on a comeback kind of thing. We got him on the single as well. And then we put it out, and they couldn't deny it because the video was on point, the record was banging, and it made enough noise for them to say, you know, we got a playlist this song amongst all the other credible artists on One Extra. So that was another stepping stone in terms of making my name more solidified within the scene.
Are we still at 2010 now? Or?
Yeah, this is 2010 going on in 2011.
Okay, yeah.
Going on in 2011. And then we followed up on that with a song called Cant Stop Way, which features Killer Benz, and that, I think the cameos that we had in that is what propelled it into the press and the media. So we got the Daily Mail on those, Manchester Evening News.
Wow.
It was on the Sun, online, and I had a relationship with Mario Balotelli at the time, so he was at my barbershop at the time when I was there.
Yeah.
But it was a thing where the barbershop wasn't open, the barber only opened it for him, so he phoned me like, get to the shop, get your cameraman, and just film when you get here. So I'm thinking, right, you can't
Mario Balotelli?
Yeah, you can't just film them, man, like that. He's like, nah, don't worry about, don't watch nothing, just film him. So obviously we got there, got him in the video, we got Rio Ferdinand when I was actually supporting Rick Ross at the time. So the video was just bits of footage throughout the year, here and everywhere, chopped together. So it was them kind of video. So we had Rio Ferdinand in it, Mario Balotelli, we had Brooke from Coronation Street, who I knew, my manager knew very well. Labyrinth, because I'd done like a club tour with Labyrinth at the time.
Labyrinth?
So while I was filming the club tour, we put that footage in the video as well.
Okay,
Tim Westwood, because that song Cant Stop, we got on the top 5, it went number 1 on Tim Westwood's show. So when I was at One Extra Studios, we had footage of that as well. So it was combined everything together. So obviously when that got out online, the press got hold of it right away. Like, why are these A-listers in the video? Obviously Misha B was in the video as well, and this is when she had a stint in the X Factor. So all the jigsaws started falling into place, and that got playlisted as well.
Pause, by the way. Misha, like I have to get you on at some point. Like, it's gonna happen. Like, maybe not this year, but it's gonna happen at some point. Big shout out to Misha B.
Yeah, man. Definitely. That's my
carry on.
Still. So the Cant Stop Way record, that definitely propelled it into other people having a little nosy at, oh, this guy's making a bit of noise here. Like, what's going on over there? Then it was after that point with that video, my manager Mike was kind of like, we need a meeting, because he felt that he took me as far as he could take me in terms of, I wanted more. My ambition and my goals wasn't just going to end.
What did you want?
So I wanted to start doing tours around the country. I wanted to start doing my own headline shows by myself. Just basically just get into
the next level.
Yeah, that next level of your career. So we kind of ended our somewhat managing me as an artist came to a hold, but it was all mutual. So there's no underlying factors that we fell out or anything. We put that out publicly, and then at that point I was thinking, no manager, what am I gonna do? But at the same time, I also was aware that networking and building relationships with the people that could put my music out to the forefront was key, because I had all them connections, all the emails, all them links that I've built up. So I thought, okay, I'm at that point now where I need to do a show, because the buzz is there, people are engaging, people are, what's going on next? So I put on.
What was it like at that time? Because it sounds exciting, to be honest. Like, what was it like being in Manchester and being the guy?
At the time, it was somewhat a relief, because, like you said, my name was always in the loop, but was never at the top 5 that you would mention when you come to the city. So for me to break through that glass window and get to that point where it's like, you can't ignore me, you have to mention me as soon as you get here, it was like, well, I've put in that work. So I wasn't really like surprised. I was kind of more like, this is what I expected myself, because my expectations are always high. So at that point it was like, what's gonna happen next? What's ever happened previously to where I'm at now doesn't matter. People want to know what's next, what's after that. And that's the meetings I had with Austin at One Extra. He was always like, you need to have 3 songs in the pipeline,
Ahead,
so
yeah.
DJs know they can fully support you, get behind your projects.
All right, so with that in mind now, like, you've obviously brought us up to a point where you're popping. You're that guy in the city.
Yeah.
Probably girls are hollering, or everyone's like, people know who you are.
Yeah.
So what happens next?
So the next step is, how can I turn this into a core fan base? How can I keep these as just my fans? So I thought I need to test myself. I was very like skeptical, like nervous, like, right, if I put on a show, people gonna turn up, what's gonna happen, should I do my ticket price at this price, so people definitely come? And I said to myself, you know what, I've put in all this work up to this point. For me not to put on a show for people to come and see me would be detrimental to my career. So I just said, you know what, I'm gonna do it. And funny enough, I've done it all by myself. So I put on a headline show and I had my people around me. So I had my sister doing the door, I had my friends doing security. There's people that I can trust to do all the logistics and stuff like that. Put the ticket, so it was at Dry Bar, so it was like a 250 capacity venue. Got all my posters, got all my tickets, got everything, got a street team, got people putting stuff out, and then I put it on for sale. Within a week it sold out. Okay. So I'm thinking, people are still hitting me online like, yo, we ain't got tickets. Where can I get tickets? So I'm thinking, do I take that next step and try and go like a bad boy and put on a next show the day after? So I spoke with my boy Cant at the time. He was fully behind everything I was doing, and he was like, go for it, bro. Like, what have you got to lose? You've sold out your first one, your first ever headline show. And I had support acts from Manchester, other local talents. They were supporting me, so we put it on, and we think we'd done like 150 tickets for the next day, but people from the first day turned up to the next event. So the first event, I can't even lie, bro, I felt like a superstar. I'm gonna lie, my uncle put me up in a range. I booked a hotel in Manchester for 2 nights. You know what I'm saying? So we done the show, had a live band, executed it, and then we done the second show, and then after that, I went home and thought, I don't want this to end. I want to do a next one the next week. I want to go on tour. I want to do this. I want to do that. So at that point, a lot more people wanted to come and join the team. So I was in full control. It was my say, whatever I wanted to happen would happen at that time. So then after that point, that's when I got approached by Kay and Shaq, who run a group called IMA Limited. So this was a management team that done TV reality stars and music. But the music that they done was more pop commercial. So the artists that they had on their banner was nothing to do with what I was out to achieve. And then they had reality TV stars from Geordie Shore, which was nothing to do with me. But it did.
So is this where you feel like because like I said, it is a thing where I feel like people rate you. There's no denying that. Like, even if they don't necessarily mention it, people definitely rate you in terms of like your ability to spit, your ability to make music. But like I said, the RIO sold out thing comes up. Is this where?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So at this point, when I signed with the management, we sat down around the table and was discussing what my plans and my visions were, because they approached me on the back of me selling out one show and kind of half filling the day after. They approached me like...
The day after as well,
well, it was the week following up to it. I'm talking about the day after the show.
Yeah.
So they've approached me. So I thought, well, if you've come into me, then whatever I have to the table, if you can't match what I want, then it doesn't really make sense that we collaborate to get to the next step. So they obviously laid down what they wanted, laid down the contract. I got that looked over. I thought, okay, it looks reasonable. Let's do it. You know, what you're offering looked like it could enhance what I'm doing. So, you know, I signed, and then we went into what music you want to make.
How much did you sign for?
That's undisclosed. Now, to be honest, it wasn't one of those deals where you got money up front. It was just we're going to manage your projects.
All right,
we're going to put the money in to get it to these other levels and other avenues that I couldn't reach at that point in my career.
At that point in your career.
So we linked up with Rhymes, who produced a lot of Wiley stuff. I think he did the Heat Wave or something. Yeah, he did the Heat Wave.
Okay, yeah.
So we sat down and we come up with a record. So we went to London. The record was across overground, underground, so it was in between.
I'm not liking
where
the
I
sound
was at.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? So,
but to be fair, like what, like I want to get the timelines right in it, because there was a point where that kind of music was what was all that was on the radio.
This is what
so
I was coming back to. So at that point, when I signed with IMA, what was on the playlist wasn't what I already previously had. What I was used to, which was just me spitting. I didn't know about doing, well, I'm not saying I know about doing big hooks, but hooks that, you know, it's a big electronic sound, and it's got to be verse, hook, 8-bridge hook. It's got to be 3 minutes and 30, no longer.
No longer than
it's
that.
Got to be to that criteria. You understand? So I thought, okay, let's just try it, because I like to experiment. I don't like to pigeonhole myself into one box, and not scared to take risks and this, that, and the other. So come up with this beat. I thought I'd say it's okay. It's not what I'm used to, but I can see where you're going with it, and this is what we have to meet in terms to get on and stay
on the radio.
The listeners hear me on the radio. As soon as you put it on, you can hear my songs all over the country and that. So I said, okay, that's fine. Done the record. We got Al Marshall, who done the Tractor.
Oh, yeah.
So he featured on Wretch's Tractor. I thought this is a good collab. And it worked. It was organic. I heard the hook first, and then he sent it me back. And then I narrowed down. So basically I had to water down my lyrics in terms of what it was going out to the demographic of my fans and who the listeners were at the time on BBC One Extra.
Okay,
you know what I'm saying? It's different now, but at that time, that's what it was going on. The big hooks, the tinies, the tinches, you know what I mean? That's the kind of hooks that people wanted on the playlist.
The soft stuff, basically.
Exactly, that's my point. So we made that, and funny enough, that actually got onto the playlist on One Extra as well. But I forgot to miss out prior to that. Before I did sign with the management, I done Wheel of Grime Part 2, that got on the B list.
Okay,
so that was the biggest song so far.
So progression,
Progression. So we got that out, done a video. That's when we done the tour with Labyrinth, because they said we're going to get you on a tour, because at the time they were doing tours for Labyrinth around the country, so they said we're going to put our artists on the tour. So it did have its benefits for exposure. And then obviously they had Geordie Shaw pushing it, promoting it, you know, getting the numbers in, stuff like that. After that, I was told that we need to start working on more EPs, mixtapes and stuff. But we need to obviously keep it like that. So the big hooks, you got to try and sound like this person. You got to try and dress like this person. You got to be.
I do know that just from my experience in the industry, that is, at the time, that was what was going on. We need a song that sounds like Tiny Tempo. We need a song that sounds like,
that's what's happening. So if that's the formula, you stick to it. Because that's what's working at the time. So
how do you feel at this point? Because obviously, like, you kind of said, like, it's out of your comfort zone a bit. Like, you were just, you kind of blew from being you, and then you've come into this situation where it's like you've got new pressures now. You have to make songs that chart and whatnot. Exactly. So how do you feel that? I don't know. Do you feel like you adjusted well to it, or not really?
I think I did in terms of me, and adjusted to it in terms of sticking to the plan. In terms of what do you want to achieve from this record? How can we push this to the boundary? So you put the record out. You are inevitably get it playlisted on the biggest stations, get it playlisted around the country, and then you want to try and sell units. You want to try and sell records. You want to try and chart with the song. If that doesn't work, you move on to the next step. You try again with the same formula. But in that time period that I was with that management, I feel that I didn't connect with the fans. So they would a lot of the fans were just going with what they're hearing at the time, but they didn't really connect with me as an artist. So they didn't know my story. I didn't know you're from my side. I didn't know you've been through gang culture. I didn't know that you had 2 kids. I didn't know this. I didn't know your lows. All we know about is just these videos and shit. So I kind of lost the fans from the Narrow Roads and the Wheel of Grime. I won't say I lost them, but I lost that engagement.
They're just not interested.
They didn't connect with me at the time. They didn't connect at that time. But I was doing the tours, the school tours around the country. You know what I mean? That's what management got me on. They got me a booking agent. They put me in positions that I wasn't in, got me on stuff with Chip and doing other little various bits and bobs around the country. So it did have its benefits, but it did have its downfalls as well in terms of where do you go after that? You know what I mean? If this management thing doesn't work, where do you go? And
so where do you feel like, where do you feel, because like I said, everyone mentions your name, even when like we started doing what we do up here, everyone mentioned your name. Like, where do you feel like it went wrong? Or?
I think it was the complacency of thinking that everything's cool, everything's just gonna work out as it's been working out. A lot of the behind the scenes stuff I let my management deal with. I just stayed in the lab, deal with the music. That's all that stuff's nothing to do with me. They'll get something, approach me. Do you like it? Do I do it? But most of the times I would compromise with things that I didn't feel that I wanted to do, but I could see where they were coming from, and it was just business. It wasn't nothing personal. It was just business. You know what I mean? So I'm thinking, okay, let's just go ahead with it. And then we moved on to the Go Hard single, which featured Screw Fizzer and Cozzy at the time.
I think I remember that, actually.
Yeah.
We're talking what?
Teddy produced that. So that
2014.
was 2013, 2014.
Yeah,
at the time. And that also got playlisted on One Extra on the C list. So that was more grime as well, but with more of a singy hook on it. But with man that was spitting bars still.
Yeah.
But I think where it went wrong in terms of that was me not putting my foot down and saying, hang on, yo, I'm not really like, everybody wants to sell records, but at the same time, you got to stay true to you and your integrity and what's your legacy going to leave behind. You know what I mean? So after the Go Hard song, I was like, what's the plan? Because I like to plan ahead. 6 months. What have you achieved in that 6 months? If we didn't, what went wrong? What can we do better to get to that next point? And the communication breakdown kind of faltered because I was like, well, this is not really me kind of thing. So the communication between my management didn't really go where I wanted it to go.
Okay.
But saying that, they hit me up and were like, we need to get an overseas feature. And I was like, it's got to be on a grime record. You know what I mean? It's got to be grime. It's just got to be grime because I could see the feedback I was getting from putting out certain records and putting out the watered down records to get on the radio, and now we're back at a place where
grime is popping and
people want the real substance. People just want substance music. And funny enough, we got Royce the 5'9" on the record, but that record was going to be Wheel of Grime Part 3, but we missed that boat because by the time we done Wheel of Grime Part 2 to the point of early this year, it's too long, so we just called it You Don't Know based around the hook. So we got Royce on the single. But at that time, when I had Royce on the single, with the communication with management, we didn't have a plan for it. We didn't know what we was doing with it. We've already given the people a teaser. People are interested, but it didn't really, nothing materialized in terms of putting it out and doing what we normally did. So at that point, I just took matters into my own hand and just thought, well, we're not communicating. Let's just kind of go our separate ways. But we didn't communicate that was gonna. It kind of just organically happened anyway. Yeah. So I just kept the record, done a video, put that out with P110. I didn't have no plan because at that time, at this time, going up to this year, my head wasn't really music. You know what I mean? My head wasn't other personal things going on in my life.
That kind of brings me nicely on to Adversity, because obviously you've released Adversity now, part 1, and it's different to stuff you've put out before. It's very kind of raw, maybe a bit overkill in terms of what you're talking about. It's very heart on the sleeve type stuff, which is like, why did you go that direction? Why did you choose to go down that route? Like,
that's a good question. To be honest with you, when after the Royce thing and I was doing my own thing, a lot of questions were up. Like when people start asking me, "What are you still doing music?" That's worrying because people never ask me that. You know them ones. You still do music?
Yeah.
Like, of course I do music, bro. Before that, you never asked me that because I was so in your face, so consistent. Whether you liked it or not, you have to respect it.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, the respect is earned. Whether you like it or not, whether you like the way I spit, whether you rate me or not, you have to respect the hustle.
The fact that you're always active.
So I thought, people asking me, a man still doing music and that. And RIO, man, look what's popping. Look who's popping in the scene. Like, you should be there. To myself, I think I should. In my head, I should, but in my heart, I shouldn't be because I've not done what I should have done to be there.
Okay.
You get me? Talent-wise, I can be there. So I thought, you know what? I think I need to let the people know my story. So we've got to go back to basics. We've got to give them what they've never heard before. You got to wear your heart on your sleeve. You got to talk about your relationship with management, your going through a period where you wasn't consistent, going through periods when you wanted to quit music, pressures of being in a relationship, pressures of work-related, pressures of money, pressures of raising 2 kids, pressures of going church, trying to do the right thing, and going through all these different types of emotions. I thought, you know what, this is the best time, because they always say artists make the best music when they got the
Under
backs
pressure.
to. Well, that's why I call it adversity, because like you said, you can either run from it or face it head on. You know what I mean? So it was a case of, let me just put it out there. And to be honest with you, that's probably the best feedback I've had for any.
I was going to say, what was the feedback like?
Well, when I say the best feedback, I mean the best feedback that I've had in terms of Wheel of Grime and Cant Stop Way were different, but I mean feedback in terms of people that don't even do music. Well, I could relate to that, because I'm working doing this to fund that. My passion and my heart wants to do that, but I don't have the resources to achieve that goal, so I'm doing that to fund that. So it's like, yo, I can feel you. I can feel what you're actually saying. You know what I mean? Like the track, like it's just relatable to what I'm doing in my walk of life. So I thought, you know what? When I was in the studio with 24K, he was engineering and.
Big up 24.
Yeah, man, don't know. That's my brother. He was like, why do you do part 2, part 3? Why just make it a series, like something that people can come on to? Because you got a story of so much that they don't know about.
That no one knows about.
People are like, rah, is this you? So we've done part 2, wrote that, recorded it, gonna shoot the video with Art Officials, big up TJ and Kieran.
Big up Art Officials, yeah.
Part 3, so each part will talk about, so part 2 will touch on
different stories.
Being involved, being in Mossad when the wars were going on the estate, when I was in Street Smart at that time.
Yeah.
And then part 3 will be about the management, what happened in that period. So every question that people were asking in their heads, or what's RIO up to, is this to do music, will be addressed through the music itself, which is the best way. So what you need to know will be in the music.
Will be answered,
It'll be answered. You know what I mean? Thoroughly, no lies, no trying to glamorize, no putting extra sauce on it. This is what it was. And if people are offended, I'm not going at people, but I'm just telling you how it is. Like, I can't be real to people. I can't be real to myself. Yeah, man. The adversity is.
Alright, so you still do music then, yeah?
Come on, bro. Of course, man. Of course.
Alright, so moving on to like some light-hearted stuff. How long's the interview now? Alright. Moving on to like where we are like now, present day. Manchester's got a lot going on. Lots of people popping from the city.
Most definitely.
Like, we're coming to the end of the year. Like, how do you feel your year's gone? Like 2016.
My year.
Yeah.
What are my expectations?
No,
or
just in general. Like, how would you say your year's gone? Good.
With the Royce feature, the Red Bull and the adversity, it's been a okay year. So it's been a 6 out of 10 year.
Okay.
For me.
Yeah.
It's just been a head just above water.
Yeah.
I am still here.
You're being real.
I'm
okay,
still
I like
putting out dope music, but the structure's not right.
Yeah.
That's why it's not where it needs to be.
Yeah.
Because I understand the formula, because I've had hints, because I've had the touches of success. I'm not done. I'm gonna be realistic, and I know why I've had a 6 out of 10 year, or just an okay year, or however you want to put it. I know why, and only I'm to blame.
Yeah.
No one else to blame. No excuses.
It's cool. The reason why I was asking is obviously because like, I personally feel like the kind of Manchester hasn't got talent, Manchester doesn't support, that myth has been destroyed. That's obviously you got to shout out people like Bugsy, Gecko, Shotty Horror, Levels. Like, they've all shown that like no matter where you're from, you can actually like really do this thing. So like, what do you feel in terms of what do you feel is the next step for Manchester now? Because obviously those artists have kind of like done their thing, and they've almost kind of like, Shotty's always in Toronto. Big up Shotty Horror. We have to get him on like when he's back in the city. Like, there are loads of people that basically just made their way. But what do you think is the next step for maybe like the other artists and like really us finding our like feet in terms of the industry and getting some real recognition?
I think it's more, and obviously this is my opinion and based on my experience and stuff, this is more a fact of just focusing on you, just doing you and not worrying about the other little politics that go on in music, because that takes a massive distraction from your own personal goals and things that you want to achieve. I think organically the eyes will wake up and think, hang on, how many artists from Manchester getting nominated at the Grime Daily Awards and the Mobile Awards, and why is it? There's no more excuse that it's all London based, because like you said, artists such as Gecko and Bugsy have broke through the door and shown that you can do numbers on that level, sold out tours on that level, recognition on that level. So it's a more of a factor, what are you doing to better yourself? Because by bettering yourself, you're going to better the scene, it's going to be more healthy. In terms of artists working together, there is a lot of artists that work behind the scenes that people don't know of. Obviously, I work closely with 24K. He's working with a lot of artists behind the scenes, Sleeps and Toby, and stuff. There is a lot going on. Levels.
No, 100%. It's definitely
Bipolar Sunshine, #1 record.
Yeah, Bipolar's just kind of like.
He's kind of slipped under the radar.
He slipped under the radar, but not almost kind of
not
thing.
Not under the radar in terms of what. Like, there's two sides of Manchester music, and even Slay was mentioning in his interview, which is a dope interview, was that you got the artists like myself, Slay, Riggs, Hypes, etc., that are on that
internet
side of
the
internet side, and you got that side, the Levels, the Chimpos, the Triggers, the Bipolar Sunshine,
making money from
the
music,
strategies,
still touring,
the syndicates. It's a different side, and they're doing mad stuff. You know what I mean? Like stuff that other artists on that side ain't doing. Let's keep it chill. You know what I mean? Like, you know, Bipolar's got his thing with DJ Snake that's #1 in many different countries. Opening up for Beyonce at at Lancashire Cricket Ground.
Opening up for Queen Bee.
You know, performing for 20,000, 30,000 people, normal. You know what I mean? So there is a lot going on. I think 2017 will be a defining year for the underdogs. There's a lot going on. Robert Hollow's putting in mad work. But I think people are just realising, like, stop looking for handouts. It doesn't come like that. I never got handouts. Like, I just grinded. I just hustled. You know what I mean? Like, I just had a vision. And a lot of people have got goals but got no plan. They don't know what's going to happen next. They're thinking, oh, what's going to happen? You should know 6 months' time, I want to be there. And I'm going to do A, B, and C to be there, no matter what anybody says.
Alright. So with that being said, I've got a question for you.
This looks like this looks like I'm throwing you under the bus kind of.
Nah. Not even. Like, who are your top 5 artists in Manny at the moment? No bias thing. No, like, don't give me names of your friends. Like, who are you feeling in Manchester at the moment?
Top 5. I would say.
This is everyone, by the way. It's not just. Like, this is everyone. Like.
But is this people that are active now, or just in general?
People, preferably people that are active, because you just said if you're not active, you don't get a look in on this platform. We want active people. If you're active.
So my personal top 5 of people that are active would obviously be 24K.
Okay.
Because I've heard a lot of his stuff that is not put out. Robert Hollow.
Okay.
And definitely feeling what he's doing. Fiasco's comeback has been inspiring, not only just to me but for the scene.
Yeah, we're getting Fiasco soon. Actually, he's gonna be talking. He's gonna be talking some stuff.
Definitely, Fiasco, Bugsy, like when you.
So you don't have beef then? Because I thought you had.
Nah. There's no that. That's just people wanting to get entertainment.
Okay,
you know them ones.
Yeah.
And I see what it can do. You get me? But a lot of his songs, you know, like Pain, Bronson, Gone Clear, a lot of his records are sick. When you listen to his stories, I don't think anyone tells better stories in the UK. Period.
Okay.
Like, being honest.
So you heard it here first, people. There's no beef with Bugsy Malone, RIO. That's 3, by the way.
That's 4.
Is that 4?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Sorry, I can't count.
And the 5th, so I'm feeling a lot beef with giving me 5. Artist that you definitely got to watch out for is K Rico.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
okay.
Definitely. Because people would expect me to name my friends, but my friends naturally inspire me anyway when I hear dope music from like your Slays and your Hypes and people that I've come up with. The Rigs is, I rate all them highly anyway.
Yeah.
Hence why I brought them on the Red Bull thing when I got the shout. So I rate them anyway, or I've brought them. But I feel, you know, the up and coming people that you need to look at, I think that doesn't get touched on. And K Rico, I remember I've done a set with him and I was like, I see you, man. I see you.
Alright.
So that's
that.
Yeah.
Alright, so I'm gonna do something different.
Can't I
with
get
you.
a 6 one?
No, you can't get a 6 one. No. I'm gonna do something different with you that I've never done with anyone else.
Yeah, man.
And like, especially with all the talk of regrets and the fact that we've gone through your story. So look into the camera, like whichever one, like anyone, and tell yourself, because we're at the end of the year, so I think it's kind of significant.
Yeah.
Tell yourself what you'd want to happen this time next year.
That's a good question. So this time next year, November, my goals and ambitions is to be like fully established within the industry, at a point where I can do bigger venues, my own headline shows, bigger supports, features with bigger artists, not even necessarily bigger artists, just artists that make sense to where I want to be. Initially having my own label, so my own team, so family, sisters running the organisation behind the scenes, people that I can trust, that have my back wherever music works or not.
Okay.
They're just there.
Yeah.
You know, them ones.
You're not looking at the camera, by the way.
Yeah, so run my own label, have my own people around me, and just be consistent, man. You know, putting out consistent music, putting out heartfelt music, telling my story. But you never know, you might not even be here next year. So that's my aims, goals, and ambitions, to be honest.
All right, cool. Well, yeah, man. I personally feel like we've answered a lot of questions. Like, if you're a fan of RIO, if you're a fan of Manchester music, like, you have to just look out for RIO, man, truth be told. Like I said, drop us a comment, let us know what you think, let us know who you want on next. We're going with the name the interviews, so like that's what we're gonna keep calling it. And yeah, man, as always, like, subscribe, do all that good stuff. And it's officially Urban on Pi Radio.